A very warm welcome to you. It's a pleasure to have you join us again on Almond Finance and Wealth Reports this week. As you know, we are source for latest happening information in the financial sector of the nation's economy. My name is Faith Wadi. On this edition of the program, we'll kick off by bringing you the exclusive interview I had with Dr. Segun Aina, OFR, President and Chairman of Council of the Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria, CIBN, where we looked at his 2-year tenure as President and Chairman of Council of the Institute. On Insurance 101, we'll kick off our report on the compulsory group life assurance policy in Nigeria. Plus, recently, the Poultry Association of Nigeria PAN put together its 2014 Poultry Industry Summit at the LCCI Exhibition Center, Alausa Ikeja here in Lagos. The theme of the summit this year was Consolidating the Growth Plan for the Poultry Industry 2013 to 2023. These are more what we have for you on the lineup this week, so I urge you as always to sit back, relax and enjoy it. But all the details are coming to you in just a moment. Please stay with us. All right, welcome back. On the site of Almond today, I have the honor and privilege to be hosting the President and Chairman of Council of the Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria, CIBN, Mr. Segun Aina, OFR, FCIB, who is my guest on the program today. We're going to be exploring his tenure of office and a lot of beautiful work that he has done during his tenure as President and Chairman of Council of the CIBN. Thank you so very much, sir, for joining me.
Thank you very much.
Okay, sir, let me kick off by asking, looking back to when you assumed office as president of the institute, what would you say were your major achievements and the challenges you faced initially?
Thank you very much. On May 19 or so, 2012, I assumed the office of the president for a 2-year tenure. In my acceptance speech during the annual general meeting, I unveiled my agenda, the agenda of the new council have been put together under the acronym Barometer, which stands for Best Practices, Alliances, Research, Opportunities, Membership Growth and Quality of Membership, Ethics, because that's one of the critical ethics, Technology, we need to be doing by technology, then examinations, because what do you think we do is examination body, and relevance, because we have to be relevant, not only to our immediate primary stakeholders, which are the banking industry, but to everybody, because the banks serve the general public. So our relevance should not be restricted to that. So we ensure that and that was why in pursuing this, I thank God that today I have been able to achieve all the things I highlighted in the Barometer agenda, and lots more, because there are certain things I did not even hesitate to do, that but through the grace of God and the support of council and management and staff, we were able to achieve. The first thing we put together was very, very extensive stakeholder engagement and dialogue, because we believe that stakeholders must be part of whatever we are doing. We believe that we must be able to engage our stakeholders, the banking industry, the government at various levels, student members, our members, and then the legislature, the judiciary at the highest level, to engage them and tell them what CIBN stands for and what our plans and programs and the achievement that we have made. And I thank God that those stakeholder engagements have been wonderful, because we have seen a lot of things coming out of it. The latest of that was on Monday, we had the first national seminar for legislators on banking and finance, because we are people that make laws for the banking industry, and they need to be able to rub minds with bankers so that they will be better informed as to the issues in banking. We also as bankers will be better able to understand where they're coming from. Yes. We also engaged the head of the judiciary, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, and one of the things we said was that we would like to get involved in some of the cases that affect banking, and today a lot of high court now refer cases of banking to us to give them technical input and so on and so forth. These are some of the benefits that we, apart from the increased visibility that we are giving the institute. Talking about membership groups, for instance, membership services, we've increased a lot of services. We created a group life insurance policy for our members at the token premium. We've expanded the scope, and we've also made sure that our members are reached as closely as possible. That is why we created 2 new zonal offices. We had one before, We created 2 new zone offices in Oshogbo to serve the southwest. We created one in Gombe to serve the northeast, in addition to the existing one which is in Owerri to serve the southeast. And because Abuja is of importance to us as a nation, as a capital, and also it also plays a lot of role in what we do, we upgraded the zonal office in Abuja to a national secretariat annex, so that whatever services that are rendered here in Lagos can also be rendered in Abuja, and they will also be involved in interfacing with the leadership of Nigeria, the executive, and so on and so forth. In the area of research, we not only created a special research fund, we also created an institution, a center within the institute that will ensure that we are on top of the game and even ahead of the game in terms of what is happening. We want to have evidence-based research outcome that will enable us to be able to service the industry that we serve and also be more relevant to our stakeholders. So last year we established the Center for Financial Studies, and the effort is to make sure that executives of banks, executive directors and managing directors of banks are able to equip themselves with the latest that is happening and have an opportunity to rub mind with the best subject matter experts all over the world to come and talk about how issues in banking are evolving, so that we don't just wait there and something comes to us and we are then reacting to it. We want to be proactive, and it's been wonderful the kind of people we have been able to attract and the kind of benefit it has had to the banking public. In the area of examination, because one of our command is to produce professionally qualified bankers, we did not only revamp our curricula for the production of associates of the institute, because we went around to many professional institutes in the UK, in Canada, in Malaysia, in India, and other countries to see what are the issues about banking today and what will be the issues for banking for tomorrow. Because we are producing bankers not only for today but for tomorrow. We are producing bankers who are fit not only to work in Nigeria but who can work anywhere in the world. So we have to align our syllabus to that, and that's why we came up with a comprehensive review, and that new syllabus has taken off this year. In addition to that, we used to run 3 certification programs: microfinance, certificate in banking, and treasury leadership. We now look at the entire zone, and we believe that people should not the ACIB that we have today is a generalist qualification, but we believe that banking has changed, and people need to specialize. If you are in retail banking, you need to know the nitty-gritty about retail banking. You need to know about customer services and so on and so forth. If you are into risk management, credit, you must be able to be a guru in that area. If you want to be in treasury, you must have the requirement. Even we have a certificate in non-interest banking, which is also called Islamic banking. So that if banks want to specialize in Islamic banking, or we have special institutions that only focus on, like the Jais Bank, they can have a opportunity of writing certification. So we created those 13 certifications. Even for regulators, we have certification now in deposit insurance for vendor assistant staff. We have certification in financial and regulatory. So we cover the entire spectrum of the banking, and that will help us to fully and effectively implement our role under the competency framework for the Nigerian banking industry, which will kick off in November of this year. And that requires that anybody holding certain position in the banking industry, up to the highest level, has the required competencies and skills. Because we discovered that since the advent of private ownership of banks in the late 80s, a lot of non-bankers have come into the industry. And some of them have risen along the line, just being experts in just one thing, and they become very, very senior people. And they find it difficult to now operate at that level, having to manage 4 or 5 or 6 different divisions because they have not been able to go through that. So the competency framework now says that if you want to hold the position of risk manager, for instance, you must pass his education. If you want to then move there to treasury, you must go through the tutelage. And we made learning so simple now that you don't need to sit down in classroom to do it. We have, under alignment with e-learning, we have e-learning platform that provides 750 courses online.
Wow.
So if you are doing a course, you can go online and study 750 courses. We're also going to do a webinar and webcast where somebody can be speaking from Australia and be teaching Nigerian bankers who are here. Even if you are on holiday as a Nigerian banker, you are on holiday in England, somebody can be teaching you from Australia. From anywhere in the world, you can listen to it. So that has made learning process very flexible, very, very interesting, and that will ensure that we have more and more people showing interest in the learning platform. And of course, our membership also has grown significantly. And the membership services that we rendered to our members have also grown, and they are very happy with us. For instance, we created about 2.5 years ago the Daily Highlight, and we have revamped it and restructured it so that people get to know about what's going on, not only in the institute on a daily basis through the newsletter that comes online every day, but also what happens in the banking industry. Also, newspaper write-ups that affect the banking industry, they are downloaded and stuff. So that even if you don't buy newspaper in a day, by looking at our daily highlights, everything that concerns you as a banker, you will any story about banker or even non-banking you see there. There's also issues about health and so on and so forth. So that platform has enabled us to have very close contact with majority of our members, and we'll be able to get them included in what we are doing. We are also involved in the financial sector strategy, FSA 2020, which are put together by all the regulators in the financial services industry, spearheaded by the Central Bank of Nigeria. And I was privileged to be invited to join the board that is supervising that body. And we'll be giving roles to play. One of which is to attract and develop the best talent for the financial services industry. I'm told.
Would you say that is lacking now?
Yes, well, it's not that it's lacking, but we can improve on what we have. We still have a long way to go in getting the best talent, because you cannot say I don't believe that you can always score 100% anywhere, but if you score 98, there's also room for those 2%. So I believe there's a lot of work that we can see, not only for instance, when I joined the banking industry has changed from what it was when I joined and now. So there's this goes continuous changes. So you need to deepen the talent, you need to deepen the skills and competencies, so that bankers who are trained by the institute, bankers who have gone through the institute continue, and that's why we have continuous professional development. Even when you complete the examinations, you are still required every year to attend some programs that will update you and that will also challenge you to be on top of information that is happening in the financial services sector. So these are some of the things, and then we have extended internationally. Today we have our branches in the UK, and that's very significant, because in 1963, when we started as a legal center of the London Institute. But today, the Institute now has a branch of its own, CIBN, and we are now collaborating with our mother institution to jointly do programs. Similarly, we set up another one in Canada. We have a lot of our members in Canada, and we also want to let Nigerians who are either working in Canadian banks or who are studying banking to be part of it, and then also study for the professional banking examination of Nigeria, so that when they come back home, they will have all the skills that are required to work in the Nigerian banking environment and meet up with the competency framework that we have. And of course, we open also new branches, and so those are some of the things that we have done in these 2 years. Some of the things that we did not even plan to do was when we came in the 50th anniversary. I said we would commit. Last year, all our programs were upgraded to commemorate 50th anniversary of the Institute of Bankers of Nigeria, and it was wonderful opportunity for us to look back at what the institute have done over the years, what are the challenges that we have faced, and how do we reposition ourselves for the future. The grand event took place on 20th of November 2013, and it was indeed a very great event for the institute. We are looking forward to having an Institute of Bankers that will be globally respected more than we are today. But today we are highly respected. In Africa, we are the chairman of Alliance of Institute of Bankers in the whole of Africa. It's supposed to be for 2 years. Every country that have had it for 2 years. But for the first time, they have allowed us to do a second term, because of the kind of leadership that we have provided to the body. We've signed a lot of agreements with international institutions to partner with some of them to run our examinations, some of them to do some joint programs, and so on and so forth. It's been wonderful. We want to be the hub of professional banking education in Africa. We signed an agreement with Sierra Leone. We now conduct examination for them in Sierra Leone, and we will conduct examination for them in Gambia, and they are asking us to even set up for them institutes of bankers in those countries. Liberia has also approached us, to do the same thing. I believe that before the end of the year, we will concretize that. So we want to really, because Institute of Bankers of Nigeria has the largest membership base in Africa, and I think in the whole world probably number 2 after India, or maybe after India and China, I don't know, because India has about 500,000 members. We have only about 180,000, but in the continent of Africa, we have the largest population.
So what do you say is responsible for that, the large membership of?
It's because the population of Nigeria. Nigeria is a 170 million country. Ghana is probably 30 million. Togo is probably maybe 5 million or something. So this is a matter of number. I mentioned that India is 500,000. India has over 1 billion people. So that is what determines the number, but we just don't want to be the largest number of number. We want to be the best in terms of providing quality, and that is why today a lot of banks in Nigeria now have subsidiaries all over Africa. UBA at the last count had about 18 subsidiaries in Africa. EcoBank, I mean through the ETI, EcoBank International, has over 30. They operate in over 30 countries. Some other banks have presence in many other countries in Africa. So the only way for us to go is to really make sure that our services are felt by our members who are in those countries.
Compulsory Group Life Assurance Policy. The Pension Act 2004 marked a new phase in the life assurance business. Hitherto, life assurance was voluntary and indeed procured by very few persons, necessitating the government to make the policy tax exempt. From the level of its patronage in the past, it may be fair to say that the fiscal incentive did not make the policy attractive enough. The Pension Act was mainly conceptualized to enable employees have permanent incomes all through their life, such that their standard of living will not decline even after retirement. The following categories are covered by the Act. All employees of the public service of the Federation and all employees of companies in the private sector with a minimum of 5 employees are required to procure group life assurance policy in addition to having a pension scheme for the workers. Indeed, Section 9, subsection 3 of the Act mandates every employer of labor with a workforce of not less than 5 to maintain a group life assurance policy for their employees with a minimum benefit of 3 times their total emolument. Employers are encouraged to do more than the prescribed minimum benefit as a way of further motivating their employees. Trust of life assurance policy. Life assurance is a peculiar insurance product that has an inherent element in investment in addition to providing cover to the insured for accidental or natural death. Unlike the other types of policies that benefit the policyholder only when there is a disaster, life assurance is a product that encourages policyholders to save over an agreed period of time such that certain benefits can be earned.
Alright, moving on straight to bring you highlights of the 2014 Poultry Summit put together by the Poultry Association of Nigeria PAN recently at the LCCI Exhibition Center Lausa Ikeja here in Lagos. The theme of the summit this year was Consolidating the Growth Plan for the Poultry Industry 2013 to 2023. Speaking during the opening session, the National President of PAN, Dr. Ayola Odunto, stated that the poultry industry demands better attention from the federal government.
The Poultry Association of Nigeria, PAN, is an association of poultry producers embracing all persons and organizations involved in poultry production. This includes but not restricted to input suppliers, commercial feed millers, service providers, and all persons that have interest in poultry production. In line with their vision, which is to open new opportunities, initiate and stimulate development in poultry farming for the benefit of all stakeholders and the economy at large. The Poultry Association recently put together its 2014 summit at the LCCI Exhibition Center, Alausa Ikeja. The theme of the summit was Consolidating the Growth Plan for Poultry Industry 2013 to 2023. The annual Poultry Summit affords stakeholders to discuss critical issues that affect the poultry industry. Declaring the summit open, the chairman of the occasion, Professor Funsho Shonaya, team leader, Poultry Transformation Team, Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, said that the greatest challenge facing the poultry industry is that of standardization.
What were the challenges that we saw in the poultry industry? The greatest challenge we saw and are still seeing is in the need for standards, the need for proper review of what makes a good poultry product and what makes a good system of production for poultry. And so, in the poultry transformation agenda, we have devoted a lot of time to developing industrial standards for poultry. Thus far, we have developed 5 industrial standards, and we have started to implement this by training those who would help to implement the standards. Some of the actors are here, even on the high table and in the audience. And what we have done is to develop standards for the breeder farm, because we believe that is where quality starts from.
In his welcome address, the national president of PAN, Dr. Ayola Odunton, said that poultry farmers need better attention from the government.
Now, I asked the Honorable Minister once one question. I said, Honorable Minister, we in livestock feel like a child you don't really like, because it seems all the attention is going to cassava, maize, cassava, rice, cassava, maize, sorghum. But if we are consuming 1.5 to 2 million tons of maize, we are responsible for consuming 25% of your total maize production. Probably directly or indirectly, we consume 100% of your soil, apart from what we can consume in cassava and other crops. So, I think we need much more attention than we are getting. I'm saying this because of children.
As always, participants broke into syndicate groups after the opening session. The syndicate groups this year were Products Marketing and Promotion, chaired by Akintunde Giwa, Poultry Production Challenges, which was chaired by Mr. Begerano Albert, Advocacy and Lobby, Product Standardization and Certification, Raw Material and Feed, as well as Finance, Insurance and Risk Mitigation, which was chaired by Malam Musa Buba. In his group presentation, Malam Buba stated that there is need for commercial banks to educate their staffers who are in lending desks to understand the dynamics of poultry production.
We look at the financial institutions themselves. If you have workers in the bank, the commercial bank, should be able to train their own staff properly, to educate them, understand the principles of lending to poultry farming and other allied agricultural products. Also, we are also asking PAN to liaise with development partners. Who are development partners? We have some organizations like GIZ, German Agricultural Cooperation, JICA, Japanese Agricultural Cooperation, UNDP, National Development Programs, and so on and so on. They can liaise with them and then try to discuss with them and get them on board to train their own members.
The poultry industry, like others in the country, is faced with enormous challenges, but with concerted efforts of government and other stakeholders, the Poultry Association of Nigeria will live up to its mission of putting high-quality poultry products on the table of Nigerians at affordable prices in the nearest future.
Alright, that's our time on this edition of the program. I do hope you thoroughly enjoyed it. Like I always say here, for comments, questions, observations, do feel free to get in touch with us on 017763981 or 08033357879, or better still, send us an email, almond4xx@yahoo.com or almondproduction@gmail.com. You can also visit us on our website, www.almondreports.com. Do not forget also to join us every Wednesday by 9:45 a.m. live on Niger FM 102.7 for our Pidgin English program called Waiting Insurance They Do Save. My name is Faith Ugwade. Until same time, same station next week, where we'll come your way with a fresh package of this program from all of us here. It's goodbye.